Hi. So, before I start the video, I I need a haircut because it's looking a little bit rough on the face and everything. I'm sorry, I just have to keep saying that just to clarify. Anyways, today I'm gonna be talking about Marvel, a topic that everyone talks about, and you probably can guess what I'm gonna talk about. How Marvel is on the decline, right? And before I start, I'm not a business major or I'm not an expert in movies or anything. This is just my opinion, and I personally think my opinion is right. So, so what I don't really hear people talk about is that what I think Marvel is thinking or has been thinking is that Endgame was Marvel's peak, right? So they built up all the momentum for Endgame to be the peak, and what their mistake was, what I believe, is that they thought they could continue the peak. But I personally think that the peak was actually an ending, right? So instead of keep going straight from the peak, I think it was kind of an ending, and they should have just calmed and chilled out after that, right? So what I would have done, I don't know why it sounds like it matters, but I think this is a good plan. So what I would have done was, instead of producing more content and kind of shoving it in their face, I would kind of relax and just stop for a year or two of more of a content. Just stop after Endgame, right? And then hit them with a movie, right? Hit them with one movie. Like, oh, Marvel's still here. Hit them with one movie. I don't know, whatever movie. And then a TV show too, right? And I think the perfect amount of content is probably 2 movies a year, 2 TV shows a year, right? That's not too much, right? You could spread it out. Maybe 3 movies, 2 TV shows, right? You can kind of spread it out. That's not too much, right? It's not bad. So yeah, just wait after Endgame. Just wait. Let people take in Endgame, and then hit them with content. Hit them with good content. And another big problem that I've heard a lot is that Marvel should have a storyline that actually connects, right? They've been trying with the multiverse kind of storyline, but it doesn't really connect at all. Can you tell me what it is about? What is Marvel Phase 4 and 5 about? Multiverse? Okay, what about multiverse? Kang? Okay, what about Kang? It's not really that much details that they give. And what I think they should, they can still do it, but they should do, is that at the end of each movie, kind of plant a seed, right? So, for example, let's say we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, right? At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, plant a seed of the multiverse threat by adding a character from a different multiverse and saying, what are you doing here? That kind of stuff, like a shock, like what is happening, right? Just add that kind of Easter egg in each one of them, so that you can have a movie that kind of builds it up, right? A little multiverse movie, and then the main one, the main big arching plot, main big arching villain, right? And obviously, what they did with Kang was disrespectful. They should have just teased him a little bit, had him maybe appear in a movie, right? Not be the main villain of an Ant-Man movie. What was Marvel thinking? It's like having Thanos the main villain of a Black Widow movie. It's like, oh, you don't belong here, But yeah, should have kind of planted seeds, a little bit of seeds of it, actually make it threatening. What I do think is that Loki was a good example of what Marvel should have done, right? That was kind of a good start. It actually felt threatening about the multiverse and what Kang could do, right? That was good. But then after that, they kind of fumbled the bag and just did. And it's okay to have their own storylines. Movies have their own storylines, obviously. You don't want them all to be the same. But they should all have a little bit of the multiversal threat in it. A little bit at least, right? So that it's there and it's lurking and it's gonna come and attack you at any moment, right? That's what made Marvel Phase 1, 2, and 3 good, right? You were still thinking about Thanos in the back of your head. The Infinity Stones, right? That's what actually, I don't really hear people talking about this, but that's actually what connected Marvel, is the Infinity Stones in each movie, the little seeds, the little plants, and that's exactly what I was talking about with Marvel Phase 4 and 5. They don't have their own version of Infinity Stones, if you know what I mean, right? Because I remember actually growing up and watching these movies and thinking, is the Infinity Stone going to be in this movie? Is it going to be in that movie? You know, you're thinking, where is it going to show up, right? Before watching the movie. And that's what I think they should have done now. You know, people going in movies like, oh, what's going to show up now? What's going to show up there? But also not taking away from the movie itself, right? Because that didn't take away, for example, Guardians of the Galaxy. That didn't, the Infinity Stone showing up didn't take away from the movie. I still like the movie regardless of the Infinity Stone. But my point is, they should have some kind of arching thread and something that connects them all, like Infinity Stones and Thanos. That's what made it good, and that's what I think they should have done. And yeah. And also, one more thing. I think they should show more of the repercussions of Endgame and Civil War, right? Endgame with the snap, they did do that a little bit. I'll give them that. They made the TV show Winter Soldier, or not, Captain America and the Winter Soldier about the snap. That was good. Well, the show wasn't good, but I liked how they added that. But I think they should add a little bit more of that. But also, something they don't really talk about is the Civil War, the peace accords. I know they kind of brushed it over and said that it doesn't exist anymore, but I thought they should have kept it even more. It would have been more tense between the superheroes, kind of continuing the Civil War storyline, right? Saying, oh, these superhero group don't like these superhero groups. You know, like kind of a civil war between superheroes. That would have been very, very good, and I like that would have been much more deep and much more different than Phase 1, 2, and 3. It made it better, right? Now that I think about it, I should work for Marvel, because they were doing such a bad job, right? And to play devil's advocate, I know why they, obviously created more content after Endgame, more content, more money, and they want to be relevant in the mainstream media, mainstream everything, so they have to create more stuff and be relevant. I get that. But if they're trying to make better content, I think taking their time and hyping up movies and actually writing good movies is the best way. But I guess they got greedy. That's how it is, But yeah, that's my thoughts on Marvel and how it should be better, and why it's declining, obviously. And yeah.